Hey everybody, welcome to 24 Chambers of Film. Today I'm going to be doing a movie review on Sean Baker's new film, Anora.
What is that? Is that a butterfly?
Yeah, it's a butterfly.
You're so classy. I know. I got dollar signs like a real hoe.
So Sean Baker's new film, Anora, is my most anticipated film of the year. And to put it simply, it is been very hyped up, and I can report happily that the film lives up to the hype. I would say, and then some. It exceeded my expectations by a little bit, but either way, I would have been happy if it met my expectations because I had really high expectations for it. I won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and I can safely say it is justified for its winning that award. Sometimes films win those awards or any award, and you're like, "What the fuck? That film is not that good. It's good, but not great." This film is great, and I can confidently say that I have no shame in recommending this film, or no doubts. Okay, not shame. Shame's the wrong word. No doubts in recommending that most people are going to find some enjoyment, even if they don't love the movie. The film is so engaging, captivating. It just kind of sucks you in. It's just got a great aesthetic and style and a vibe that really hooks you. It was awesome. I was lucky enough to see this at the Vista, Quentin Tarantino's theater in LA, where they project everything in 35 millimeter. And first of all, my first time being there, the Vista is fucking beautiful. The presentation's beautiful. The setup, everything, the chairs, the seating, has that palace feel to it. And yeah, it was cool. Everything's presented in 35 millimeter. I think they also do 70 millimeter as well. But Anora was shot on 35 millimeter, and then it's cool to get to see it projected in 35 millimeter, and it just looks so beautiful. It just adds 35 millimeter, just adds that extra, movie magic filter over it that I was used to growing up. That's what I was used to seeing for the longest time, watching films in 35 millimeter, and it's just a nostalgic hit to my senses. Really brought me down memory lane, and it just makes me miss those just the old way of going in, just the feeling of when I went to the theater and stuff like that. I just there's a lot of stuff that happens now with advertisements in the theater that I'm annoyed by, and I wish it went back to the way it used to be, the way they presented movies in theaters. But yeah, this film is great. I mean, this film. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, I'm not gonna jabber on too long about my experience at the Vista and all this stuff, and my nostalgia for how it used to be at the theaters. But yeah, back to Anora. Great fucking film. I mean, I can't wait to rewatch it again. But basically, Anora follows a sex worker, Anora. She goes by Annie. But yeah, she meets this Russian oligarch's son who, they're filthy rich. He's got fuck you money. He's there for a week in New York, just having fun, partying, going to all these strip clubs. And he meets Honora, and he takes a liking to her. She speaks Russian, not fluently, but she understands it and she can speak it. And he doesn't speak super great English. I mean, he speaks pretty good English, I would say, but definitely with a hard accent. And yeah, you basically, they have a great week. He hires her for like 15K to spend the whole week with her and, fuck around, have sex, have fun, whatever. And then he doesn't want to go back to Russia. He's 21 years old. He says, this is my last week in America because then I got to go work for my dad in Russia. But he said, if I get married, I can stay in America. So he ends up proposing to Honora, and at first she doesn't believe him, but she ends up going along with it. I mean, look, to her, this is like the American dream. She's out. This guy has so much money, and his name's Ivan. She likes him. He thinks he's a chill person, and she could probably see herself eventually falling in love with him. But yeah, they get married in Vegas, and then of course it gets back to the family. It gets back to Ivan's handlers, the people that kind of make sure he stays out of trouble. He was able to sneak away from them and go do all that stuff. And yeah, and then once they find out, they're obviously not happy about it, and they send Ivan's handlers, which are their names are Karen Carligulian Toros, Garnick, which is Vach Tomasian. I'm probably butchering these names because they're Armenian. And then you got the other one. You got Igor, who's Yuri Borisavi. All great actors. But yeah, they are the people that come to get Anora and Ivan to get the marriage annulled. And then basically all hell breaks loose. It becomes chaotic. Ivan ends up running away, and basically Anora and the handlers have to find Ivan before his parents show up the next day, because they're going to get this marriage annulled, and they need to find him, and they don't know where he is. So it goes like a knight's odyssey journey, finding Ivan in all this chaos, comedy of errors, very much a screwball comedy, rom-com. and it's done beautifully. This film is fucking great. So before I get into the details, there will be minor spoilers. I'll do my best not to spoil too much because I want people to go to this as blind as possible. So if you have seen it, obviously keep watching. Doesn't matter for you. But if you haven't seen it and you don't want anything spoiled, go watch the movie when it comes out nationwide in November 1st, and then come back and watch this review. But yeah, so let's get into it. So let me just get into the acting.
I am telling you, you do not know this guy.
All the this for this type of movie, the acting has to be spot on, has to be top tier, and everybody fucking delivers. Mikey Madison is Anora. I mean, I will be shocked for this whole film in general if she doesn't get a nomination. She has a very good chance of winning, in my opinion. She is so captivating, so engaging. She has this energy about her. She really just goes for the fucking role, and she nails it, and she knocks it out the park. I mean, not a flawed moment in her performance. It just seemed all authentic and just natural, and she nailed it. She's so fucking good. I've always thought she was a good actor, but she really just elevated her acting game in this movie. Sean Baker was able to get a great performance out of all his actors, but Mikey Madison really fucking got into it. She delivered a phenomenal performance that will live on in cinema forever, in my opinion. But everyone else is so great. But the other supporting actors are so great. Like the guy who plays Yvonne, Mark Eidelstein, he's great. He's a nice, goofy guy that's very immature, the character that he plays it, but he plays it so good and so entertaining. He's hilarious, because also English is a second language. There's a lot of funny moments just because of him, because he's not American. He's great. The handlers, there's 2 Armenians and one Russian guy. Karen Karagulian, who plays Toros, who's the main handler for the family that it's always been watching Ivan. He is phenomenal. I've seen him in other films of Sean Baker's, but dang, he deserves a nomination for sure. He is so good. So good. It's so hilarious. He has so many great funny moments. Him, also Vach Tomovasian. I'm probably butchered his last name. He plays Garnik. Guy's also hilarious. Apparently he's a comedian in Armenia. And then you got Yuri Borsovi, who plays Igor, who is the Russian muscle, essentially. He is phenomenal as well. He is so good. He's kind of, he doesn't really he's not very, loud or flamboyant or anything like that. He kind of keeps to himself, but whenever he speaks, the comedy hits, man. He has a lot of great one-lines that are just funny because of the timing or the setup of when he says his line. It's so good. But yeah, they are phenomenal. No issues with any of the performances in this film. Everybody felt so authentic and real and natural. Yeah, it was great. I think everybody in this cast, of those actors that I just mentioned, they can all get nominations for sure for the Oscars. Will they? Probably not, because they're probably gonna. That's just the way it is. But I think for sure Mikey Madison is a lock for Best Actor, Best Actress, and I think either the guy Yura, who plays Igor, or the guy who plays Toros, Karen Karagulian. They have a very good chance of getting a supporting actor nomination, in my opinion, but we'll see. Doesn't matter. They fucking should be super proud of their performances. They did fucking amazing. Okay, let's get into the filmmaking.
It's a fraud marriage, and we're getting in an old essay.
The filmmaking is just, I'm a big fan of Sean Baker's aesthetic. He has this Technicolor look of his films, very colorful, but also realistic. It's a Technicolor realism, as I would say, but very good shots. He uses anamorphic lenses basically for most of his films, especially as of late, and it just looks so good. It looks so good on that beautiful screen, and then projected in 35 just adds that extra layer to it. Sean he's just really took his filmmaking to the next level in this film. I feel like he probably had more time, maybe I would say, more tools, but more things to really set up shots. The opening shot of this film is probably my favorite opening shot that he's had in his films. It's just so good. You don't know where you're at, and then it reveals itself. The song's bumping and playing, and like I said, the sound system at the Vista was amazing, and it just it blew my fucking mind. I was locked in. I'm like, oh dude, this movie's gonna rule, and it delivered. It didn't let up. It had a great natural progression. His editing, like I said, he edits his films. He really nailed down the editing and the timing, especially the comedic timing of just how much space to do between these lines. Like he just, it was great. Big kudos to Sean for just being in sync with his own film and just really cutting it really well. Yeah, I mean, no issues with Sean Baker's filmmaking. His script was amazing too. What a great script. You really don't know where it's going, how it's going to end. Like I said, a lot of funny situational moments. It's very comedic. It's a comedy for sure. And there is a beautiful romance in this film that it's not what you think if you see the trailer, but it's great. It's great. And then Drew Daniels does the cinematography, who's a great cinematographer, probably one of the best working today. He did one of my favorite films, Waves. So gorgeous. Look, if you haven't seen Waves, go watch it. Just for the cinematography alone, it's so good. But the film's amazing as well. But yeah, he just knows how to light a fucking movie. He did Red Rocket, Sean Baker's last film, and I think they're a great pairing. I hope Sean brings him for his next film because I think Sean found his guy, it feels like. But yeah, phenomenal cinematography from Drew Daniels. The music choices, whoever is in charge of the music supervision in this film, fucking amazing. Sean Baker doesn't really use scores in his movies. He uses music, but either he'll use, usually for his opening credits, he'll use like music that's not like diegetic, and then the rest is like in the film. So, but it was really well done whenever they did that. It was so good. Like I said, the score, the sound, like this is, everybody's just operating on a very high level. Had no issues with the technical aspects of this film. It was just really well executed, very professionally executed, and I think everybody here on this film is going to get some form of nomination. I would say like it's going to get at least 10 nominations. I would guess for the Oscars, and for any awards coming down, they're just all going to be getting accolades for the rest of the award season. But yeah, filmmaking's phenomenal in this film. No gripes from me. It's great.
Ты женился на какой-то проститутке?
What?
All right, so let's get into the scenes, some of the best scenes in this film without spoiling too much. Okay, so God, like I said, the opening credits. I'm a big opening credits guy, and I feel like this has one of my favorite opening credits. Just a great tracking, like pan tracking shot, and then a zoom in, push in shot on our lead character Anora. It's just perfect timing with the text too and everything. The music fits, and yeah, it's just a great shot. It's like sort of slow motion, if I remember correctly. I definitely want to see it again, just so I can, just be able to experience and really like pick out things that maybe like kind of went by too quick for me. But yeah, that opening shot, everything, and then you get to meet Anora. It's all like, dude, the first 30 minutes of this movie are just flying by. It's just like boom, 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 boom. Like it's so good and so engaging, and you're just like, okay, what's happening? You're into whatever you're seeing. It's just a very slice of life of what's going on with Anora, and then her meeting Ivan, all that stuff. It just it's just a treat to watch. Another great scene. Oh man, honestly, the scene when the handlers show up to tell Ivan and Anora we're getting this shit annulled is fucking great. Just everything, them finding out, especially the character of Toros, when he finds out he's at a baptism, is so fucking hilarious. That scene, that, like I said, literally like laugh out loud moments in some of these throughout this movie has like great moments of just like you laugh out loud, and it's so funny the way the actors play it. It's like so so much authentic, with the way they portray it. But yeah, just that whole segment is great because then Anora flips out. You see it in the trailer; she starts flipping out. But the interaction is just comedy gold, and just the whole situation of the whole thing, and the way they're reacting to each other. And then pretty much, like, honestly, man, everything, the whole odyssey of them trying, the comedies of errors that's happening, of them trying to find Yvonne after he runs away. So the handlers and Nora, it is so good. So it's Igor, Toros, and Garnick. Those three characters, and then Anora, they're looking for Yvonne, and it's just their interactions, the communications. It's just so well done, so well executed, and you just want to see what's going to happen next. And then Sean Baker just captures everything, so gorgeous. The lighting, everything, it just adds that extra layer of engrossing you into the movie even more. The ending is phenomenal. It really ends on like a kind of a gut punch. It, like, you get all this comedy, and it's funny throughout pretty much the whole runtime, and then near the end when Ivan's parents show up and all that stuff, it starts becoming a little bit more, the drama starts to amp up, and and it gets a little heavy, and then the last scene is so good. There's a lot of great, especially with the characters of Igor and Anora. They have great chemistry, and a lot of great stuff happens between those two characters. But yeah, the last shot of the movie is very powerful. Mikey Madison's acting is so good, and it really just adds another layer to Anora, just making her more of a human being, and just humanizing her even more, because she's very kind of, jarring in the beginning. She's very confident, very outgoing. She's a hustler. She's hustling. She knows how to work at what she's really good at, what she does. And and there's kind of like a distance from the audience in her. And as the movie progresses, that like connection of like relating with her like closes and closes. And then by the end of the movie, you're like with her. And then there's like a gut punch at the end with her. And and then the movie ends, and it's so good. Perfect ending, I would say. You didn't need any more. I didn't need like extra 5, extra 10 or 20. I felt like it ended perfectly, and the runtime was justified. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes. I felt it flew by. Like I said, I can't wait to watch it again because it was that good. I mean, like, I don't want to get into too much details of these scenes, but yeah, there's a lot of great scenes that I can talk about, a lot of funny moments, but I don't want to ruin the joke. So it's better if you guys see this movie as blind as possible, honestly.
You want someone who speaks Russian?
My Russian is terrible. I can't even roll my R's.
So let's get into my rating. My rating for Anora, God, like I've said on this, it's definitely in the 9s. I'm going to give it a 9.6 out of 10. Yeah, that's right. 9.6 out of 10. I'm not overreacting. I'm not over exaggerating. It's fucking great. It's a great goddamn movie. And it's not, look, sure, the experience of watching it at the Vista and 35 millimeter always adds. But like, if I would have watched it at my local theater, I would have had a great experience too. That movie's that fucking good. It's legit. I hope if it wins, I'll be very pleased, especially for someone like Sean Baker, who's a really down to earth person and really earned his spot where he's at now. He really worked hard for it. He started from really low budget independent film shooting on DV cameras and stuff like that. Now he's like shooting on film, all his movies on film. He's a great inspiration for any filmmaker, I would say, especially coming up and trying to break into the industry. So I'd be super happy if Anora wins. I know we got a bunch of great films that are coming up that are going to be pushing for that award, but I think Anora's in a good spot, and I think it's a crowd pleaser at the end of the day. So if you like crowd pleasers, but it's also not like a generic crowd pleaser. It has like other layers, and like I said, it has a dramatic weight to it. So it's more than just a crowd pleaser, but it definitely is a crowd pleaser. Highly recommend it. I mean, there's nothing else to say. The movie's fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I can't wait. I don't want to say this is like, it's too fresh. You got recency bias. I don't want to say that this is my favorite film of Sean Baker's, but it's easily top 2 already. It definitely his most rewatchable for sure. But yeah, go see it. Go watch Anora. Go support great independent films like Anora. Hopefully it does great at the box office when it releases everywhere in November. I think it's November 1st. It's available everywhere. So I'll definitely be rewatching this again in the theater, and I can't wait to see it again. So this 24 Chambers of Film. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because more reviews and other filmmaking content, whatever it may be related to film is coming up. So yeah, go check it out.